Hello, I'm Kev Lavery, and today I'm going to show you how you can restrict the visibility of topics in the content area of your Connect unit. A lot of teaching is about how we scaffold a student's journey through learning materials and activities in a unit. How can we structure that learning pathway to have the most positive effect? Sometimes it's about when content's available. Other times it's about if content's available. There may be parts of a given Connect unit that might not be relevant to your students, either due to their current progress, whether the information needs to be updated, or possibly because it exists in the unit as a note or prompt to the teachers. And there'll also be content that you want to be revealed to students once they've reached a certain milestone, a score on a quiz, submission of an assessment, or even just that they've viewed a specific topic. Restricting topics through one of these methods can help you sequence student learning in a way that is most advantageous to their understanding and retention of informational skills. The simplest way to restrict a topic in Connect is to make it invisible to students. This can be done by setting the given topic to draft. To set as draft, select the context menu next to the topic and select Edit Properties in place. Now select the drop-down that says Published and set it to draft. This topic is now invisible to students. If you want to change it back, simply set it back to Published and it'll be visible again. It's also important to note that if you have content preloaded into your unit as part of Master Product, you should not set this material to draft. For time-based structuring of access, you can add dates to content. Setting dates on topics allows students to see that the topic exists, but they're unable to open or view it until the start date has been reached. Same as before, we start with Edit Properties in place and then select Add Dates and Restrictions. I'm going to apply a start date to this topic. Students will still see this topic, but can't access it until the start date is passed. The due date does not control access, but it shows up under the content topic and can help students prioritize learning activities or materials. If I choose to apply an end date, this will cut off access to the topic once the selected date has been reached. If I want to remove a date, I simply select the X next to the date to dismiss it. Once you're happy with your setup, you just need to select Update to apply these dates. Releasing topics based on specific criteria can help round out a learning pathway. When release conditions are in place, topics are invisible until the student has met the criteria that you specify. Once they've met that criteria, the additional content is revealed. In this example, let's set a simple condition on the second assessment item in our unit. We'll make it invisible to the students until they've completed the first assessment item. Once they're done, the second assessment item will automatically become visible. To add a release condition, select Add Dates and Restrictions, and then under Release Conditions, select Create. Pick a condition type from the drop-down. There are many different criteria that you can set. In this example, we'll set this condition type to be score on a quiz. Now to set some criteria. I'm going to set it to equal to 100%. Select Create to add the release criteria. We can now see that a student has to achieve 100% on the first assessment task before the second assessment task will become available. Experiment with these to see what works for you. You might find that you use totally different conditions for different units or even different cohorts. As before, when you're satisfied with the setup, select Update to apply. If you'd like to remove a conditional release, just open your restrictions area and then select the X next to the criteria to dismiss it. Again, make sure you select Update to apply your changes. Dates and release conditions can be used together to give you fine control over the visibility of topics in your unit and to better scaffold your students' learning pathway.